Welcome back to part 2 of the status display training video. Now that the basics are done, time to dig a bit deeper. I will select the new option again in priority, creating a third level. Note that when the new button is selected, whichever priority level with its conditions is current on the screen, the conditions will be copied to the newly created priority level. In the Modify condition, I will expand the list and then expand the shipping and erection status condition and select the erected condition. To set the current date, I will double-click on the Not Set field. To set a date field back to Not Set status, type in 0, then tab out to validate the field. I'm going to type in a date August 9th, 2012. Now, change the show item as to orange and then apply. There are now 3 priority levels in this configuration, and all the members that meet the erected range of dates are set to an orange color. The Show All button will display the priority levels with the shown as color. Note, masked as black, and also the respective conditions associated with each level. I will leave this window open. In priority level 3, I will check the Display Other Materials in gray option. This will cause any members that do not meet the status display criteria settings to become gray when the members are in a solid form. I will OK to close the status display configuration window. Notice that the Show All button remains open to act as a legend. Now, when I change the members to stick, we see that the items that are not statused are not gray, but instead remain in a set stick line color. Let's save what we have done so far. It's time to move to creating multiple conditions for priority levels. I'll begin by disabling priority level 2 with its sequence condition. Disable will cause the system to ignore the priority level with its conditions. The result is we see all the sequences for the model with the erected members between the range of dates set to orange. Again, note the 2 beams in sequence 1 that do not have an erected status are set to gray. Changing to priority level 3, I will select the New Condition in the Condition section. We can see that when a new condition is created, the new condition will already be selected for modification. In Modify Conditions General Status Options, I will set the sequence to be sequence 1, leaving the expression to Is. When I hit the Apply configuration, we see that the 2 members that were previously set to gray in sequence 1 due to their erection status not being set are now orange. Why is this? This is due to the modifiers or expressions any, all, or none found in the Show Item As line. It currently is set to any, which means if any of the conditions are true in priority level 3, turn the members to orange. Those previously gray members may not have had an erected date set, but they are in sequence 1, so they meet any of the conditions in priority level 3. Remember, priority level 2 is still disabled. When I change the expression to all, this means that all the conditions must be met for the members to be colored or masked. When I hit Apply, we see that only the members that are in sequence 1 and members that have an erected set date within the range become orange. Notice the beams in sequence 2 that were previously orange are now set to gray. Even though they meet the qualifying erected date, they do not meet the condition of being in sequence 1. The 2 beams in sequence 1 are gray again because they do not meet the erected status. When none is selected, this means that if any of the conditions are true in the model, do not colorize or mask the items in the model. When I apply the status, we see that all the members in sequences other than 1 are orange, with the exception of any beams that meet the condition of an erection date set within the condition's range. Next, I will move on to the hierarchy of priority levels and how they function. In priority level 3, I will set the expression back to any. And I will then remove the disable check from priority level 2. When I hit apply, only the members in sequence 1 are visible and all the members are orange due to the any condition in priority level 3 being met. While in priority level 2, when I use the lower button, we see that the condition of masking sequence 1 has now been moved into priority level 3. And in this case, the conditions in priority level 3 are now moved into priority level 2. Note that the disable setting will also move with the conditions. When the apply is used, the erected members in sequence 2 are now visible and orange. This is because the erected status condition is met and takes priority over the masking condition, which is now in priority level 3. Therefore, two key points to remember about status display configuration are that each priority will contain a single or several conditions that must be met in order to affect the coloring or masking of items in the model. And the higher priority levels, for example level 1, will override the conditions in lower priority levels such as 2, 3, and 4. I would now like to cover custom properties and status display. I will begin by clearing the current configuration and then applying the changes to the model. When you edit or review a member and then select the Properties button, we can see the member's custom properties. These are user and/or design data created attributes. What you see in the screen are the prompts. These prompts are attached to what design data calls schema entry names. In the Modify condition of status display, under the Member Status Member Custom Property, the values we see in the drop-down list are not the prompts seen in the previously launched Custom Property screen, but they are the schema entry names. The schema names should be descriptive enough to match the prompts visible in the Properties screen. One exception would be the schema entry names for the addendum tabs. These were originally called change orders. So for the addendum schema entry names, the prefix is still CO. You can also search for schema entry names in the Job and Fabricator Setup options under the Custom Properties Members setting. Back in the Properties window, let's take an example. The member placed in the Erectors tab, which has a schema entry name of Erector Member Placed. Let's create a new priority 2 and change the color to a yellow custom color. In the expanded Modify condition, Member Status, Member Custom Property drop-down list, we see the Erector Member Placed schema entry name. Remember, the values that you see in the drop-down list are the schema names and not the prompts that you see in the Member Edit window. When I double-click on the field, we see the current date appear. I will set the date to August 9th, 2012. When we apply, wait for it, it takes a while, we can see the members set as placed are yellow. I will confirm this by editing a yellow member's properties. Back in Status Display, we see next to the Erector Member Place schema an equal sign in the drop-down list. When we expand the list, we see is not, less than and equals, greater than, and greater than and equals. When I select the is not and apply, we see in yellow all the members that do not have the Member Placed custom property set. Finally, I will mask the members that have a not set erected status on the project. Now that I've filtered out the members that have not been erected, I can select the remaining erected members and perform operations such as status data transfers from selection, or in this demonstration I will run the ship mark description by selection report. In conclusion, we can see that status display is a very powerful tool that does more than just color code a model, but can be used to filter items in the model and allow precise selection for other tools in SDS2.